ANC party was facing serious organizational challenges and threw his weight behind Cabinet Minister Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma to lead the party. And in Europe, the Kremlin has admitted mistakes were made in its drive to mobilize Russian army reservists to fight in Ukraine amid growing public opposition. There are cases where when the decree is violated, according to Russian President Vladimir Putin, his spokesman, adding that all the errors will be corrected. Multiple reports say people with no military experience or who are too old or disabled are being called up. Last week's mobilization decree has already triggered widespread protests. President Putin announced what he described as partial mobilization on the 21st of September, with Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu later saying that 300,000 reservists would be called up. However, reports in opposition Russian media suggested that up to 1 million people could be called up, pointing out that one paragraph believed to be about the exact number of the required reservists was omitted or classified in the published version of Mr. Putin's decree on the official Kremlin website. And still about Russia, today is the final day of a ballot for Russian-held regions of Ukraine, which the government in Kyiv and its Western allies dismiss as sham. Nearly 4 million people from the eastern regions of Donetsk and Luhansk and the southern regions of Kherson and Zaporizhia are being asked to attend polling stations and vote in so-called referendums on joining Russia. This follows 4 days of early voting, during which allegations of intimidation multiplied as election officials went house to house accompanied by armed guards. The votes, called with just a few days' notice, serve a deadly serious purpose, as they will be used by the Kremlin to legitimize its invasion aims. And moving on, a chronic gang, economic and political crisis has led to a humanitarian catastrophe in Haiti, according to the country's UN envoy. Weeks of violence and attacks on food aid warehouses have rocked the nation's food security, according to Helen Lalime in a UN Security Council meeting. In protest of the dire situation, businesses have closed and transport services are not running, and thousands are called for Prime Minister Ariel Henry's resignation. Civil unrest across the island escalated after he announced an end to government fuel subsidies on the 11th of September, which caused petrol and diesel prices to skyrocket. And in the Caribbean, Florida's governor has warned the state to brace for a potential major disaster as Category 2 Hurricane Ian gathers force in the Caribbean. Strong winds began hitting Cuba's south coast on Monday night. Ian is expected to make landfall on Florida's west coast sometime tomorrow. The hurricane's exact path is uncertain, but Governor Ron DeSantis warned of broad impact throughout the state. Residents have been stocking up on food, water, medicine, and fuel. Some parts of the state have not seen a hurricane of this magnitude in about a century. And finally, the cipher of King Charles III has been revealed, showing an image to be used by government departments and on state documents and post boxes. This was personally chosen by the King Charles from a range of designs produced by the College of Arms. The monogram combines the Latin for kings plus 3 for the third King Charles. The cipher, a visual identity of the new reign, replaces the E tiara of Queen Elizabeth II. There will be other changes ahead to mark the new reign of King Charles. The Bank of England says new banknotes featuring a portrait of King Charles III are expected to enter circulation by mid-2024, with the image to be revealed before the end of this year. New coins will be produced, says the Royal Mint, and will appear in line with demands from banks and post offices. There is a tradition, says the Royal Mint Museum, for the profile of a new monarch on coin. to face in the opposite direction to their predecessor. Existing banknotes and coins will continue to be valid, with Charles and Elizabeth notes and coins being used alongside each other. Again, the Royal Mint says there is approximately 27 billion coins from Queen Elizabeth II's reign in circulation. The Royal Mail says that new stamps featuring King Charles will enter circulation once current stocks of stamp are exhausted. Well, that brings us to the end of this afternoon's news in brief. Thank you so much for watching Channel 44. I remind you of the Karamoja cry. We have already sent food to the people of Karamoja. Thank you to all that have given. Please continue sowing your seed as the need is still great. You can send your seed to the numbers that will be availed during the services, or you can come to the Miracle Center Cathedral here during the services. Pastor Robert Kayanja will be receiving seeds personally and praying a special blessing upon your life. God bless you. Enjoy the Marriage Now program with Pastor Jessica Kayanja as she continues to preach on the glory of God. Good afternoon.